Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. Today is Wednesday, so we've got the Public Awakening joining us for our Woo Woo Wednesday. Thanks to everyone that is new, hanging in there, new or new again with us with this new channel. I did receive a letter from WhoTube that they're standing by their ruling and they will not give me back my monetized channel. So we're doing some workarounds. You can check out the description below for ways you can support the channel. And I would really encourage you guys to join my Patreon. We had a really fun impromptu AMA and I pulled some tarot cards last night. I think I'm going to start doing that once a week. So you guys jump over there. It's $5 and that's a way to support the channel and I can connect with you guys directly. So really great way to help out and connect. So we'll be right back with the Public Awakening. Give us a like, share this video. Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, so
I just
it's
lost
Woo
audio.
Woo Wednesday. You did not.
Oh boy.
Try to.
I don't know if you can hear me. I lost everything again.
I can hear
I
you.
lost everything again. Everything just flickered and my sound went out. I think I'm going to try and go out and come back in.
Sounds
it
good.
totally just spazzed out. All right.
Yep,
I'll be
you're
back
good.
in a second. Sorry, guys.
So these are strange times that we are in right now, between people losing their channels. Public has lost his Twitter several times. He's back on Twitter, the real TPA, if you guys want to go follow him there. My husband's been kicked off Twitter I don't know how many times. I'm looking for those other social media and platforms that we can live stream. The reality is that a lot of the platforms just don't have the bandwidth or the capability to stream live. So my next step is Rumble and BitTube to sign up for those. I'm on Odyssey and I can upload on pilled.net. And I put a call in to my buddy Robert Beatles to see if he can get me a streaming opportunity through Foxhole. I've uploaded on Minds. I can't do Gab TV, or I could, but it's a paid thing. And then I'm also on, the best way to find my stuff is, well, for here as long as we can on WhoTube. And then I'm on Odyssey and I'm really trying to work on building community there. That's a great opportunity for all of us. You guys would earn cryptocurrency for watching the show, and I would earn cryptocurrency for uploading or sharing the shows. They do have an option where they're working on the live. I just don't know how to connect it through my streaming software yet. So I'm going to got a couple friends trying to help me work on that. If we can get that part figured out, then we can hopefully move a lot of the community to Odyssey. Oh, he's trying to come back, but it's not working. Anyway, so a lot of people have told me, hey, get on Theta TV. I ran the Edge node. I did all the things. I went on social media and did you're supposed to say, do this hashtag, hey, Theta TV, give me a stream key. I did all those things, no response. I asked Bix about it and I don't remember where we are on that. I might need to hit him back up with that maybe. But it's my understanding they don't have enough bandwidth at this time or whatever the technology is to support more streamers at this time. So we're just all in this strange time. One of the things I want to talk about with Public, hopefully he's able to come back and join us, but is there's been a lot of noise, and we've talked about the 17th letter on the channel and talked about some of the comms and all that stuff. And there's been this cloud coming over where people are kind of standing up saying that they don't like that number because it causes people to sit on their hands and not do anything and think that someone's coming to save them. And I just really have a completely opposite opinion of that. I think it's done a lot, whether it was originally a psyop by the bad guys, it's done way too much to wake people up for it to be even if all it was supposed to do is wake people up and teach them about the things that are going on in the world. This was one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Let's see, where is my Twitter? Oh, I think it's in this one. It's in your face. It's mainstream. This is Newsweek. Silicon Valley is out to hack the process of aging, and they're saying, can blood from young people slow aging? Silicon Valley has bet billions it will. Biotech startups are trying to hack the process of aging, in the process stave off the most devastating diseases. Aren't they just a bunch of saints? But this is really in your face. This is on Newsweek, talking about infusing young blood into people to reverse aging. And we all know what that is. So I also look at, we know that Public and other friends of ours, Pimpy and several other friends of ours, went to the rally on, or the insurrection. I'm not sure which way we're supposed to talk about it publicly, but and a lot of those people were people who had been inspired by or heard from or listened to the 17th letter. The other thing it does is the way the 17th letter talks to people, it asks questions and puts pieces of the puzzle together, but it makes you critically think. Maybe that's all it was supposed to ever do, is cause people to turn on that critical thinking. So I don't know if you could hear what I was talking about, Public.
I didn't hear a thing. The whole thing had
Okay.
a reboot. Sorry. I
That's
guess that's
okay.
my warning to watch what I say, huh?
I don't know. At this point,
Duly noted.
There's so many other channels that say way more contradictory things, or not contradictory. What word am I trying to say? Like conspiracy kind of things that I don't understand why I was targeted. I do have some people that I've been talking with that have faced kind of some of the same things, and they're like, it's just really strange, and it's strange which shows you got targeted on, that it's almost like there's maybe another person or community that's going after you, because it's kind of strange. So I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's a great question to ask then. Did somebody make a complaint? Was there a report? I wouldn't have even thought to have asked that. Yeah.
Maybe I
Makes
can
sense.
ask. I don't know.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So anyway, what I was talking about was something that I wanted to talk about today. There's a big cloud or some people that are really getting behind this whole, the 17th letters just causing people to sit on their hands. And I see that as the reverse. I think it caused people to wake up and learn about things like this, that now Newsweek is talking about publicly, that Silicon Valley is investing millions and millions of dollars into checking out how young blood being infused can reverse aging. This is on Newsweek. This
Right.
is not me talking any
Right.
conspiracy here. This is mainstream media.
Well, this is Woo Woo Wednesday. We are basically allowed to just talk about anything. It's woo woo, for heaven's sake.
Well, it should
It's
be.
just
But when
whatever
woo-woo is more reality, like I just got off Patreon with doing a private chat with one of my Patreons, and we were talking about how, like, it's wild when the woo-woo world is more real than what you're seeing on mainstream. You're seeing stuff like this. You're watching Hayden trip up the stairs and walls coming apart in the presidential office and cars parked out behind the Oval Office. It should be a lawn, So
a beautiful rose garden, actually, right?
I don't think the rose garden's back there. I thought it was like a lawn with these trees. There's a aerial photo of it. But anyway, it's just that when that world becomes more real and actually makes more sense, the explanations in the woo world make more sense than what they're telling us. There was also CDC's rolling back on, now it's 1 in 10,000 chance of transmitting the illness on surfaces. They can't decide, what numbers go with what. There's also this was concerning. Reuters, a third of illness survivors. In a study, more than 230,000 mostly American patients were diagnosed with a brain or psychiatric disorder within 6 months, suggesting the illness could lead to a wave of mental and neurological problems. That's really concerning, and back to that possibility, or leans to that possibility that Uncle Cliff talks about, where this being a bioweapon, and that we may not see the full extent of this for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's not something like that, then it's something like the, fake news media, putting that suggestion out there,
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
which came first?
Yeah. Which came first? Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, could it be just because of people sitting home, losing their jobs, feeling unsure about their futures and everything else? Or could it be from
Right.
that? I mean, either one, but whatever those big channels are going to put out as suggestions, unfortunately gets followed, pretty steadfast by some.
It's just crazy to me. But so I was going into this whole thing where, how the people are talking about how, oh, it caused people to sit on their hands and not do things. But I would beg to argue that even on January 6th, that a lot of those people that talk about taking action, that showed up at the Capitol for the rally, not for the incident that occurred after,
Right.
or during, but
Well, to hear the
that
president speak. Right.
right, a lot of those people, I would guess, have some knowledge of the 17th letter as well. So I just don't understand this whole, I guess in society, it's always been that way. If you're negative or skeptical, somehow you are considered more intelligent than someone who believes, if something is unknown, that means it could be or it couldn't be. There's
Mhm.
both sides. But for some reason, people really like to lean on that. Oh, you know, that's a psyop and you're
I-
falling for it. And I'm like, too much good came out of it.
It was right. I mean, my understanding is that it was an information dissemination program. So if information got out, how can it be fake? If information got out that people are now looking up and now researching, how can this be a fake thing?
Mhm.
I think the notion or the idea that it's fake was put out on purpose by the naysayers. What is fake? They never made any promises. They never gave any dates ever, 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 for anything to happen. The team, they never did anything hard and fast, and to say it's disproven or whatever, like I said, it was supposed to be an information dissemination program, and that's what it did. It got information out there. That's not fake. It did it. How
Right.
it's handled and how whatever we do with it or what turns into it after, that's maybe on us, but no,
Right. But
I
I don't see
disagree
it
with that
causing
whole thing.
people not to take action, or thinking that someone was coming. They'll also say, oh, you think somebody's going to come to save you, that we have to.
Well,
I see it really building up patriots and saying, like, okay, we need to learn our constitution. There's an
mhm,
action, and then what do we need to do? We need to hold our representatives accountable. Those are all
right.
actions. So
There's not
yeah.
really much that we could do right now. I've heard that argument, and I don't like that argument because there's nothing we can really do right now. I mean,
Well, so
we can't even, get down there. I wouldn't go down to Washington again
no,
after last time to visit with my family, to go to this museums. I'm staying out of there for a long time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I have an issue with that whole thought process and what people are saying lately. Also, it's what was fake, what didn't come true, because
Right.
that team never said anything about days, never said what would happen in January, never said what would happen about anything really ever as far as timing goes. It puts out information and says, here, dig on this. It's frustrating because it's like we're in the final minutes of it now, and anything on any side, both sides are using whatever they can at this point. And I think there is a lot of the disinformation, and there is, if we're at the end here, we're right at the end. What what better to do right at the very end than just try and crush everyone's spirit?
Right.
You're on the winning team. Your football team is up by 2 touchdowns, and everything's great, and then what if somebody starts telling you, oh, they always gas out in the last quarter,
Well, didn't
they
that
always
happen
fumble
with
up, they always get tired.
Washington? With the war, was when that they pretended to go back home,
Right.
or like they were conceding or whatever, and then came back and won.
And then they came back and got them.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just, to me, that those kind of statements are not, I don't know, just, and maybe that's more of that division, trying to divide even the patriots, and
Yeah.
that's where we need to stick together. And
Well, because now we have 2 teams of patriots, right? We have those who think that was real, and we have those that think it was a psyop, but are willing to go forward anyway. And it's the ones who think it was a psyop now are kind of looking down on everyone else, like, oh, this is what they did in 100 years ago, where they where they had that same similar program over there in Europe or something that used some of the same taglines.
right.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And why didn't you mention it 4 years ago when it started?
Well, and even if it did, I mean, once
everyone's a
again,
Monday
these
morning
are
quarterback these
tools.
days, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's tools, and so if it's used for good or bad, like when I had the honor of having Uncle Cliff on the show, and we were talking about, Bitcoin, and he said, some people think that Bitcoin was created by the bad guys, and I said, okay, but what if the good guys are in control of it now, and that
Mhm.
actually takes down these global elite, central bankers? And I can't remember his exact words, was something about, wouldn't that be some sweet justice if what they created actually destroyed them? And so I could see even that in the 17th letter kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, what if it was intended for harm, but it's used for good? So I think there's a lot of that stuff going on. Um,
sure. I think I would like to have think somebody would have tipped us off earlier. Um, you know, if it was all, not believable or anything. But this is where we're going. Are we are we stuck in the past, or are we stuck or are we going into the future? It's funny. I had a conversation not that long ago about the idea that Bitcoin could have been created by the bad guys. The only thought, my personal thoughts on that is that no, only because
right.
they're not ones to make something now that they won't be able to use for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? When Bitcoin first, 10, 11 years ago now, when it first appeared,
Mm-hmm.
the coins were fractions of a penny, and there wasn't enough of them to do anything with. We heard 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. What kind of illegal bad stuff are you going to be doing with that? I mean, how
Well, isn't
long?
that 16-year plan or whatever? It could have been created by them with the intention of, the only part I have a hard time with on the Bitcoin thing created by bad guys is that if it's truly created to be decentralized and peer-to-peer, then they would never want that, because they always want
Right.
everything to be centralized and controlled. So I mean, that's where, like, yeah, the digital dollars, sure, that's bad guys all day long. That's,
Mhm.
them turning their existing digital ledgers into, calling their dirty fiat something else. That's
Right.
not anything new. But
Where does KYC, in your opinion, fit in with that?
oh,
If it was, created to be decentralized and keep the government's hands off of the people's money, however you want to say it. So now we didn't have KYC in the beginning. Now anybody and everybody basically who's getting into cryptocurrencies of any point is going onto one of these exchanges, having a wallet, and entering in their vitals. And
that
now
wasn't the
in
original
right,
vision
but
of
that's where
Bitcoin.
that's
If
where
you
we are
go,
now. So
yeah,
what?
if you go back to the white paper, it
Right,
was peer to peer. There
right.
were no exchanges. We've probably, that may be the effort of the bad guys,
Yeah,
is
that's
creating
my
all these
question.
exchanges. Yeah, that's a good point. Really good
Because
point.
who put that in? The crypto community doesn't want it now. So maybe that was a way that the, bad guys can get their hands in on it. But again, if they created it and they had all this long, they have every back door that there could ever possibly be. They have computers and systems already figured out years ago that can already go in and fix it and change it. I mean, if it's just another dirty, deep state tool, it's so manipulated and messed with. I don't know. I think 11 years in now, I think we would have seen some more of that. Or maybe that's what KYC is. Maybe that's their first things of getting it back. But like I said, I don't believe they would create something that would take 5 years or more to one, have enough of them created, to be worth enough money to do something bad with. Because even years into it, what was it? Cents, pennies, $5, $10? It wasn't much. And there was only a few million Bitcoin that were mined at the time, right? So how could that have been used for all this nefarious stuff? And then for them to put it out into the public and say, here's an open source thing, go ahead, tinker with it all you want. Is that because it wasn't the bad guys, or that because it was the bad guys and they're confident they have every backdoor that they can get us in, and every loophole in law with the KYC, and who knows what's going to be next? A few years ago, we didn't have any KYC. What's going to come up a year or two from now that we're not, this whole new authentication thing or something? Who knows?
The little cards that have to do with, what?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's really going to happen.
You don't?
I don't think that's
I am
gonna
seeing
happen.
a lot of states, saying
they're talking a big game. They're
Yeah.
talking a big game at this point, but I don't think we're going to go that way. I mean, you might get some little crazy blue states to do something, right? But I don't think on a big scale at all. I don't think so. As depressed as I am seeing my fellow Americans outside driving around in their cars with their windows up by themselves with 2 masks on, I still say to myself, there are enough people that are awake that are going to negate the double mask wearers, by themselves, the double face diapers, by themselves in a car with the windows up.
Right. That was another tweet that I saw, that now there are studies showing that the wonderful masks are where in the world is it? I'll find it. It's right here. Okay, so chemical cocktail found in face masks. Not only are you breathing, wearing certain types of face masks for long periods of time could result in potentially hazardous chemicals and harmful microplastics being inhaled deep into human lungs. And this is an article from, I want to say it's Reuters. I can't really see the top of it in this screen, but just like, where is the critical thinking there? I'm really struggling with that.
There's no critical thinking. I'm realizing more and more every single day I go out, every single time I'm out doing something, there's no critical thinking at all. I am, the biggest realization I personally have had through all this is how many people are actually asleep. It's way more than I thought. It's way more than I thought. I was, last week when I went into Manhattan, in Times Square, it's literally one of the busiest parts of one of the busiest cities in the whole world. I probably saw 10 people in the course of 3 hours walking from Times Square through Central Park and back down through Bryant Park. 10 people that didn't have masks on in Manhattan. There's,
Well, we were just laughing because Mom and I and Charlie went to lunch, and people are walking in, and they've released the mask mandate here. But people are walking in with masks on, and it's a Chinese buffet. So they have their mask on, they sit down, then they take their mask off. Then their buddies are walking. It's a really small town, so everybody knows each other. So their buddies are walking around the buffet. Everyone's using the same utensils, touching the same utensils. And then they walk by and pat their buddy on the shoulder, and they're talking, and they're literally like this far apart with no masks on, because you only need them to walk in the door.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Because you're safe. You're safe. I mean, food, if you're sitting in a restaurant, apparently those germs don't like restaurants or anywhere to eat.
Yeah.
You got to walk in, because God forbid you walk past somebody sitting down and, you might get something. But as soon as you sit down, you could keep it off for
Well, and then they get up, no mask on, walk around the buffet,
yeah.
touch the spoons and things that everybody's touching, and then go sit down and eat. And I'm just like, I just can't even. And I think about, like, how can you be true to yourself? Like, how do you rationalize that or justify that behavior in your head that you're not betraying yourself by
Doesn't
doing
go
that?
that deep. It doesn't go that deep. Where
Yeah.
our brothers and sisters are just not that deep.
I think
It's
Bonbon's got the thing. Most people are rule followers, and that's probably part of it. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Just don't think. It's the not thinking part, though. That's the part that confuses me. At no point do people seem to just stop and say, hey, wait a second, really, what's happening here? That's the power. That's the power of the media. That's how we got where we are. It's very, very, very eye-opening to me to see the depth of it. It truly is. It's shocking. It's depressing. It's saddening.
I remember when all this was starting, and Amy and I did a couple, and she's like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. We're not going to do. No American's going to do this." We did. We're that brainwashed. Like, it's just really incredible.
And not only did we have our neighbors now looking down at us if we walk near them without a mask. The girls and I were getting into the elevator here yesterday, and there was a guy there. He had his mask on. We don't wear the face diapers in the building. We don't wear them anywhere except where we're absolutely have to.
Right.
And he asked first, "Oh, do you mind? Do you mind if I come in with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, man.
Sure.
Yeah, come on in. We're all good. We're all good." But just to where that we've put that other layer between us now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, hey, John, hey, Sam, how you been? It's, you guys okay? Can I come? Yeah. Can I come near you? Want to fist bump from across the room? All right, there we go.
Yeah. Well,
But-
and it is all about division. I mean, that goes back to that point. I had a really great interview. If you guys haven't seen it yet, check out the interview with Crypto Rich, and he's actually a caseworker, child safety worker, child protective services in the UK, and talking about just what's going on over there. And we start talking about how the government has become the abuser in an abusive relationship, and I've mentioned it or recognized it before of being like in a codependent relationship where you have like the government wants you to be dependent on them, so they don't care. They'll keep giving you little handouts and treats, and even though if it keeps an addict, they'll give money when they know the addict's going to go buy drugs because
Right.
it keeps you in control. He even elevated to an abusive level where what does an abuser do? They isolate you, keep you away from your friends and family. Because they don't want you critically thinking. They talk down to you. They offer you a little carrot here and there, and
they
then
track you wherever you go. They look at your phone records. They listen to your calls. Whoa,
things are going to get better. I'm sorry. Here's a little stimulus check. Things will get better. You can trust me. And then the abuse again. And so, yeah, I don't know when we're going to be done with it, but I think tomorrow's really interesting.
That's a really crazy way to look at it. I didn't think about it like that, but it fits every single criteria for being in that abusive relationship. Yeah. Wow. That's something. Oh, we've got a baby climbing up the walls over there.
She's done. She wants to go outside.
Yeah, no, we were out already. She didn't fall asleep
good.
today yet. I was hoping for a nap before we started the show, but it's not happening.
It's not happening. That's okay. Real life.
Yeah. So I just saw somebody's, John Sackett here commented in the comments. It's like they're under a spell. Actually, they are under a spell, man. You got it. It's everything that a spell is. It's voodoo. It's magic. It's coercion. It's
brainwashing.
It's illusions. It's brainwashing. It's all of it, and it works so perfectly. Not only are we not fighting it as a group, we're embracing it and saying, please keep us safe. Please keep us safe. It's disheartening. Mass ritual. Absolutely. Absolutely, Westwood. It is a mass ritual. And what are the most powerful rituals? They are the mass rituals. They are the ones where you get the
All the people in the Super Bowl
everybody
worship the
in the Super Bowl. Yep. In the Super, she just ran away. In the Super Bowl, in, you know, all the sports things, I mean, in every way. It's, I mean, here, look, these are, I just pulled one out of my pocket.
yeah.
We,
I'm sure
we,
that's really clean.
I mean, you know, I wore it, you know, once or twice, but I don't wear it. And yeah, did you see the videos? I was just trying to find here.
Somebody was talking about the worms in the
The
mask.
synthetic worms in the mask. I'm telling you, they're showing these ones. They pull them out and they're wiggling around, and then they like make some little solution and they put like a little 9-volt battery on there and they touch it and it gets electrocuted and the damn thing starts moving around. What if they're little like those little vril that like go in your brain and they like drone you with that stuff, man? That's real stuff. I don't care what anybody says. That's real. It's real. It's real. It's real.
For real, for real. It's wild. It's wild. Oh, crazy. So
If you can find a video,
do you have I can look.
I will. I'll look for one. Keep talking. Sorry.
Okay. Well, so I sent this to Uncle Cliff after watching one of his videos. He's talking about a invasion.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we talk about frequency all the time. Just I can preface that he shot this down and just dashed my dreams and said, "No, Lisa, there would be much more language around this if this was the issue." But I'm still going to throw it out there just in case I'm even a hair close.
Okay.
Or Nana said something about like, oh, Uncle Cliff has talked about masking before, like where one set of words are used in two different situations, and so you can't see which situation. So these cicadas are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Is this showing up on your screen?
Yeah.
I think it is. Okay.
Yeah. These are the 17-year ones.
Yes, 17-year ones. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go again. Also, and it's the brood 10, the brood X or the brood 10, and they are they said that it's actually impossible to do a census because there's just so many of them. And they can get to be what is it, more than 1 million per acre, which is more than 25 or 30 per square foot. Ooh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. But I thought this timing is interesting. It's kind of the same timing that Uncle Cliff's talking about this invasion noise. And I thought this was really interesting as well. So you guys see the timeline and when the peak of it is, and then it drops down. If you live in the DC area, lucky you, you'll be in the middle of cicada palooza, where huge concentrations will emerge simultaneously. People in other affected cities, such as Cincinnati, Philadelphia, will experience insects as well, but New Yorkers may not. The last population in the state, Long Island, was clearly extinct in 2004. Blah, blah, blah. So it goes on to talk about, they're just so nasty. Where is it? It talks about the kind of how much noise they can make. And so the frequency, they literally change the frequency of the, let's see, pump. Ta-da. Where is the one about the frequency?
Are these one of the ones also that don't actually fly like bumblebees? They just like resonate up and levitate?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, like
I think it
bumblebees.
shows them flying with their wings and stuff.
Well, yeah, but they beat their wings, but not to fly, to make like that frequency, and then they kind of hover. Yeah, like don't hummingbirds do that? Or, but I know bumblebees, like their wings can't support their body or something like that, so they make like this little anti-gravity field. And there's these beetles too that I think we spoke about once. These beetles with blue wings. And there's this guy who went to like this island and peeled off all the beetles with the blue wings, and he put them on the bottom of a board and literally stood on it and levitated up. And this was like 100 years ago. Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, I'll have to find out.
So this was a part that I thought was cool, how when we talk about frequency and all this, and like, could this be some kind of supernatural frequency changing? So it says when a bunch of brood X men get together, their cores can reach 105 decibels, louder than a lawnmower. So this louder than a lawnmower with 25 to 30 of them in a square foot is going to be emerging in DC in mid to late May.
Nice.
I don't know. I feel like that
That's
might be something.
yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't.
Today's Woo Woo
I'm kind of
Wednesday, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
I'm kind of processing that for a minute, but
I don't know.
yeah,
What do you guys think in the chat? I'm really curious what you think about the timing of it and then the frequency. I mean, for it to be that loud, I can't even imagine. Let's see what everybody's saying. Praying mantis.
I'm trying to find the link for those beetles here. The levitating bugs. Oh, this is all going back to like ancient stuff now. Here, yeah. The guy's name is here's one of the things here. The guy's name is this is the guy's name.
Send me the link in the private chat.
So,
do you know how to do that?
Actually, I don't have it on my computer.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me send it in the. Can I text it to you?
No. Well, no, because you have that Android phone.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, no, I'll just text the link then.
Okay. Then
There you go. It's just the wiki page. See what it says here was the this scientist Viktor Grepenyov, smart Russian guy. It says yeah. Thank you very much. It says here he's a Russian scientist, biologist, and entomologist, and paranormal researcher, best known for his claim to have invented a levitation platform which operated by attaching dead insects' body parts on the underside. Well, that's the baby screaming also. He wrote detailed accounts of his experiences flying over the Russian countryside using this levitation device. These flying experiences, as well as reported observations and from other paranormal activity, usually appearing with insects, bugs, or nests. And he has a book here that he makes reference to. But yeah, I've seen the pictures of it. I've seen the accounts of it. I've seen a picture. Who knows whether it's real? It's a black and white picture. And this guy's standing on a board. It seems unsupported, and he's up about a foot off the ground, just standing on it.
That is bizarre.
Yeah. I think what it was, if I remember right, there's kind of like almost like a holographic pattern that's on the wings. It's like one of those beetle wings that are like holography, and you turn it and they look, and they have designs in them and stuff. And I think it was maybe something like that.
So it's a geometry thing, like the
I'm not sure. Yeah, like a sacred geometry thing almost.
Geometry thing?
Yeah, almost like, yeah. And then, like I said, there's the bumblebee too, which it creates I guess a resonance field around it by flapping its wings, because the wings aren't strong enough to lift it up. So what they do is they vibrate, and then
its environment.
Yeah, it literally is anti-gravity. That's how they fly. It's anti-gravity. Maybe we'll learn more about these things. Yeah. I don't even remember how we got onto that.
Uncle Cliff's. Well, we were talking about the cicadas, and I was talking about what I shared this with Uncle Cliff, and I was really hopeful that this was going to be the invasion. And your text didn't come through, of course.
No.
But those are screams of joy, everyone. She's fine.
Yeah, no, they're playing in the other room.
Baby.
She's a very loud baby today.
A loud and happy baby today.
Very happy. Yeah, no, I can't find anything else. Who knows? There's so many different ways of looking at all these things. Again, it is this conversation, in my opinion, that we're having here came from what we've learned over the last year or two or three, whenever you got on the boat with that team that's working for us and helping us out. We wouldn't be having these conversations now. We wouldn't be going into this, and we wouldn't be discussing these things. So
right.
I don't think it's a psyop.
I don't either.
It doesn't.
Or if it is, even if it was created for bad, I think it's good. And I know people get really frustrated with me being so positive, but I can't help it when this makes way more sense than the narrative they're pushing.
What? Right.
Like,
why not be positive?
Yeah.
Where are you putting your intentions today? I'm putting my intentions today on what I would like to see. I'm putting my intentions and my focus and my energy on where I would like this whole thing to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not focusing, I'm not putting my energy and my time and, me into looking at something bad. Why focus on
Well, what do they
what we
say?
don't want?
Perception is reality.
Yeah.
And we talk about manifesting and what we're manifesting, what we're focusing on. You're going to create. We're coming into these different realities. So, yeah. I mean, I kind of that was another conversation I had with one of my Patreons that I was just on with a little while ago, and we were talking about how it's it's like you can't even well, and Charlie had the same thing. That's part of the reason he got fired was like his reality was so different than his boss's, and he couldn't be true to himself, and destroy the company and do all the things the boss wanted him to do because he didn't believe that like that. So he had to be true to himself. And this friend of mine on Patreon, we were talking, and he's like, he literally had to quit his job because it was just so contradictory to his truth. He was not being truthful to himself to stay in that environment. And now he's being freed to do these things that, he loves, and he's being drawn to create those spaces for community. Like, what Uncle Cliff talked about, I can't remember what he called them, but the collective communities or social communities.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of our ascension is that we may be living with these zombies, or we may see them as zombies that I don't know that everyone's going to get there, or at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm more or better than anyone. I'm just saying I have a different reality than some of these people. And I think a lot of the people on our channel, Dan quit his job a few days ago. Way to go, Dan.
Nice. Hopefully,
Yeah.
everything's just going to work out awesome. And
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is for everybody sooner than later. It's always, the most cliche things. It's always darkest before the light. And, I'm thinking more and more too, I know I've said in the past that maybe this is the scare necessary that the team spoke about. We don't know what that was yet. There hasn't been
I don't
many
think we're there
decodes of
yet. I really think that it's going to the scare will get worse before, because I don't think we're there yet. Like somebody said in the chat, people don't do anything unless they don't move till it's painful. And I think that if we're looking at a benevolent society moving forward, that it's going to have to be really painful for some to make that choice to come on,
Right. Right. We're gonna have to choose. We're gonna have, are you gonna stay in the past, or are you gonna go towards this new future? Every choice we make is going to contribute to that. And being a negative Nelly and somebody who's always worrying about what if this and what if that, we have the power to manifest our own realities in every way, through prayer, through thoughts, through intentions, through your actions, through your daily things that you do, and how it affects other people in your life. I think once more people realize that we do in fact have we can personally change our lives in an instant. So I think once more people start to realize that, we're not going to be waiting for something to happen, because I think it's happening now. We're dividing the team up right now, unfortunately. What side are you on? Are you going towards the positive, or are you going to be scared and hesitant and
I will say that if
full
I
of regret?
was ever waiting, it would have been before the count, because I thought it was going to turn out different. And so then I was, I took action in as much as I could at that point. But then I was waiting for that to be the end. At this point, I don't see an end. So I just see that we have to choose the positive. We have to manifest that together. We have to focus on community. And regardless of what's happening around us, instead of being reactive to this thing that we're in, we need to be proactive of building our new future
Hmm.
and what we
Exactly.
want it to be.
Exactly. We are going to make our futures. We are going to, we have more, if you, with the strange energies from space, as Uncle Cliff says, and
Mhm.
with these astrology, the way it's going now, we have the opportunity now. It's literally almost at this point, I believe it's almost ask and ye shall receive. Um, I think that's where we're at. I think if you ask the universe or God or spirits or your guides for your assistance and for their assistance and wisdom and knowledge, I think there's never been a time like there is right now to sync up with those other vibes and sync up with those other realities and become one with them in a way that's never really been done. We're in a whole different environment, in every way.
Well,
Hopefully.
and like when I see when I'm doing the tarot cards and connecting with somebody, I'm like, one thing I've learned from it, that's really strong, is that God wants us to ask, wants to give us answers, wants to talk to us, wants to connect with us. But we have to set that intention of listening and connecting and saying,
Mhm.
it's like, I just think of it so much as a parent child relationship. And like, I want to connect with my kids all the time. But if I talk at them, they're not going to listen to me. But when they're connecting with me, they're asking me, and you know, then they really are listening and connecting with me. And I also think about how, universe, God wants good things for us. When I take my kids to get ice cream, I hear people say all the time, like, oh gosh, what if I pick the wrong house, or I picked the wrong job, or I picked the wrong thing? God's going to punish me, or I'm not going to get the blessing, whatever. And I'm like, God, you don't take your kids to get ice cream and go, well, what flavor are you going to choose? Well, I'm only going to bless you if you pick the flavor I think that you should have. I just don't see it that way. So I think that we have a lot of opportunity to set our intention,
Mhm.
and on the future and positive things and manifest those. And I think as a community, we can do that together exponentially, when we do all come together and focus on, um, those strong positive things. So
Yeah, agreed. I was just reading some of the comments here. Everybody's really chatting it up. Thank you, everybody. Hope
I know I
everybody's
love it when they get,
enjoying and sharing, and help Lisa get back all of our subscribers and more. That would be great.
and we're going to focus on, please go to Odyssey. There's a link in the description. And I really would love to build community there. I think it's a decentralized platform. And it stores all the videos on a blockchain. So it's really cool. That way, you earn cryptocurrency for just watching videos. And there's a rewards page that you can go in and do different things. Like if you watch so many videos, you get this many points. And if you invite people, you get points. So, you could use my link. It'll give me points. That's another way you can help out the channel without it really costing you anything other than some time. And there's some really great content creators over there, and that community is really strong and growing. But it's still small enough where like everybody knows each other, so it's really cool.
Hmm.
Um, so that's a great way. I would love to. I really don't see being in this platform long term. I don't think it's going to be around long term.
No.
And I can't remember if it was remote viewers. Maybe Mom told me this. She might be in the chat still. That saw Twitter. Maybe it was SL. I can't remember, but saw Twitter like going away.
Well, yeah, that's certainly a possibility. And
Hmm.
something new comes, or Twitter as we know it goes away. I mean, at some point, this has gotta stop. I mean, how, when, where, nobody knows. But
Yeah.
this is the weird part is too. It's like we're all sitting here looking at this now because we're looking at it differently than we always have. The same stuff has always happened since we were children. I mean, the same thing that we're watching unfold through this last, voting process, and how these players are playing in government. This has been going on for decades. We're just learning really how bad it is, or really what goes on at this point, as a whole. So this is the same thing that's just happened over and over and over again, and we're just learning about it now. So is it just going to keep going? Is it going to keep doing it over and over again?
It may always be there, but we may see it now.
Yeah.
Or
the cat's out of the bag.
That choose to see it. Well, no. Yeah. Phil C., we talked about this yesterday, but he brings up a great point. If Section 230 is scrubbed, these platforms can all be sued. So, and I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, I brought it up on Amy and I's show that Clarence Thomas made a statement that social media is not protected by First Amendment, and that we should get rid of Section 230 because they're trying to, social media and different platforms like that are trying to say that they're not publishers, that people are just speaking freely on these platforms, so they're not responsible. But then they're censoring these people and kicking them off. And so what Judge Thomas was saying is you can't have it both ways. Either it has to be an open platform and you're not a publisher, you're not editing, or you have to admit responsibility of being a publisher. So yeah, I think that, and I think that little hint of that yesterday was just kind of like a get ready. I think it seems like they'll do, well, even today, Pataki put out a little heads up. Hayden might be writing an EO tomorrow about our Second Amendment rights. And so I think we'll put a little nugget out there to see how people will react. And then
funny thing about that, I saw 2 articles. So scrolling around before, I saw 2 articles online for it. Each one I clicked on, the page was gone. I don't know what it was. Yeah, I tried 2, maybe 3 different links for different articles about that.
To see where she actually said it, or just what
to see what, to see what the EO was. There was a picture of, one of these, and then it was, Biden talks about making an EO for this, and every time you clicked on them, that's kind of weird.
It was weird.
I wouldn't expect
everything's weird.
That side to go, missing. Supposedly they would want people to see that.
Did you see I know we're almost out of time, but Mom had told me that there was in Australia, there was I think 2 hours or something of mainstream media channel that wouldn't film, or somebody had hacked the film, and they had a big monkey or orangutan or something sitting in a desk chair like they were the anchor. And I haven't been able to find an article for it. I don't know if you guys find it out there, but I was curious.
That's cool.
Is that one of those things where they're trying to kind of leak it out? Will it be exposed?
We had...
Mom says for 48 hours it was.
Oh, wow. There was a story going around that Google Earth renamed Georgia as the sea of racism. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and they removed them from Google Maps or something. Now, when I read that, it was that Babylon Bee, so they're a satire news platform or whatever. But I did get on my Google Maps and write the word Georgia, and instead of taking me to Georgia, USA, it took me way over to Georgia in Russia.
Yeah, the country.
Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting. I'm maybe there's a little bit of truth to that. They're not trying to help me find Georgia, in my own country. That would make more sense. The nearest Georgia to me, not on the other side of the world.
Maybe there's something. Yeah, maybe there is something to it. What did they just do just recently? They renamed on Google Earth. They renamed Washington, right? Wasn't something weird about it was no longer Washington, D.C. on the Google Earth? It was just Washington.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. I guess that's part of that where they're trying to make it a state or whatever.
Yeah, well, if it's not would that
it's a foreign nation, so it can't ever really be a state. Yeah.
Who knows? Unless they just they kick they kick the people who are running the corporation out, and they take over the building. Yeah, and they take over the building, like the they did in the Middle East in the 70s with all of our oil companies and stuff like that. They kicked us out. They kept all the oil, the wells and refining facilities and kept it for themselves. Maybe it's something like that.
This is interesting. Dan says, my country and all the cities have been renamed. They use the indigenous name everywhere now due to gout decree?
Government decree.
Government decree. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. I was like,
Oh,
everybody
wow.
got gout? What in the world? Government decree. I don't know what country that is, Dan. Maybe you can let us know. That's really interesting.
Indigenous name everywhere now. See, that's a NESARA thing. I don't know if we're not supposed to say it, but that's a NESARA thing. Bringing facts back, bringing truth back. Does that indigenous thing have anything to do with what happened in Oklahoma, where the indigenous people got all their land back?
Well, and they have. So part of that, and I did share this with my Patreon when I first found out about it, but so he's saying Christchurch, so that's Australia, right? Christchurch is now Hutahi. I don't know how you say that. I'll need some Indian 101, or that's Aboriginal if it's Australia, but
that's not done lightly, because it's millions and millions and millions of dollars to change street signs and maps and books and every, all the names on every. If you're going to change the name of your city, that's a lot of effort and expense behind that too. So it's not done lightly.
Well, so you mentioned the Oklahoma thing. We have a friend. Well, I don't even have to say that, but there's. So last year, one of the things Trump did was, like you said, reinstate the tribal lands, the authority of the tribal lands back to. And recently there have been a couple stories where, somebody who had been convicted by the state of a crime was then it was then released because it was under tribal authority, and like he may have been in that tribe or something. I don't know. There's all this. Well, I have a friend that or I have knowledge that there have been 90 apartments rented for FBI judicial kind of people. I don't know if they're attorneys or what, but they're coming into, because now it's not under state, that part of the land is not under state authority. It's under the Indian territory, which is under the federal government, their authority. And so the feds are coming in and retrying. There's like literally 90 of them coming to retry all these cases in Oklahoma.
Now, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Are they retrying them because they got off easy, or are they retrying them because they were not treated fairly and now they'll get some fairness?
I really don't know how that's going to play out, but that's significant. That is not, and that's restoring back to original authority. And
Christchurch is New Zealand, we're hearing.
Oh, New Zealand. Okay. Sorry. I was thinking it was Australia.
To us people over here, it's all kind of the same thing. You got the Kiwis, you got the Australians.
I know somebody said something about
I'm joking. That's a joke.
No, but it happens everywhere. Like, well, it was Crypto Rich. He was like, oh yeah, you got to meet this guy. He's just down the road from me. It's not too far. He's in Florida. And I was like, that's like far. But in the UK, you can drive to Ireland and be there in a day or something. So maybe for them, they think, oh yeah, Florida's, and then somebody asked me, I said, they were talking about Oklahoma, and I said, or Texas, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, we're immediately north of Texas. And somebody's like, thank you. I did not know where Oklahoma was. And so it's just really interesting. Our country is so big that you really a lot of people don't know.
Well, try and do every now and then play the little games online where it's got the shape of the state and you have to put it into a blank outline of the country. That's pretty difficult.
That is, I can do the big ones. I can't do the little.
In the middle. There's a whole section in the middle. I don't know, that well what fits where, but
I can help you on that part. We can do it together, and I'll help you on that part.
Nice. So, quick here. I'm reading in the chats again too. Les Shirian, it says NESARA is cabal. Yes and no. There are two NESARAs. The A, no, I'm sorry. The R has two different meanings. I would suggest maybe digging into that for a little bit. It's interesting. The one that was original, and then there was a fellow who wrote a book, I believe in the 80s, where he changed what the letter R stood for. I believe it was reform into reformation, or no, recovery and reformation. There was a difference between using the two words, although the acronym stayed the same, which basically completely changed what Nicera is, from like a Saint Germain thing to the bad Great
To a
Reset.
recovery, not a reformation of
Yeah.
the former.
Right.
Right.
Reforming would just be papering over what you
Just
have, I
making it
guess.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was a big difference between the two. That's where a lot of, I believe they've kind of co-opted or hijacked, just another one of these good things out there, getting people to be against it. If we're not for something and we're against it, we're basically praying against it. If we're seeing, Nicera is cabal, more of us see that, more of us believe it. Our intentions of believing that Nicera is cabal then could actually make it real, or will affect it to be
Once again, it's the
real.
manifesting. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's all stay on the positive side,
Just,
the bright
look
side,
into
and
it.
stay together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep that critical thinking going. Everybody think for yourself. And I want to thank everybody again for supporting me as we're like trying to relaunch the channel and find our space. We've just really been overwhelmed with the amount of support. I am going to start doing, we had a lot of fun last night doing an impromptu AMA for the Patreon. And so I think I'm going to try to do that once a week. I'm trying to decide if Wednesday's a better day or Saturday. So I might do a little poll for my Patreon and see which night's better for them, that they can all jump on, because it's a really great core group of people that then everybody's in the live chat and we all get to have a good time.
That'd be cool.
So,
People ask for the weekends all the time. Oop, I froze up. Am I frozen?
no, you're not frozen.
I'm frozen on my end. That's really weird. At
You're
least
good.
it's a
Oh
good
no,
shot.
you're physically frozen, but I can hear you.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. At least it's one of those good shots. I could have like that herpy derpy face, where you look like you're half sneezing. But no,
Yes, one of mine recently, when I posted, I don't remember where I posted it, but I'm like, doing my hand talking and flailing around, and my Elvis lip is going up. Like I got all the good shots.
Thank you.
All at
Thank you very
once.
much.
Yeah. Yes, my Elvis gets going. All right. Well, thanks guys for joining us on Woo Woo Wednesday. Hope you had fun. I hope you guys give us a like and share this video.
Mhm.
And everybody stay positive. And
Stay
there are
frosty.
things you can do. Stay frosty. There are things you can do. Robert Beatles is working on a project called Operation Sunlight. He's asking people to reach out to your, there's a letter that Dr. Shiva has created, and you can get it emailed to you. And then you reach out to your local authorities and you can get the count results. And then they're trying to put those all together to collate to work on something. So if you're looking for action steps, there are action steps that you can take and be a part of. He's also looking for two representatives in each state to kind of help coordinate people that are wanting to, look for those other options. So we'll just leave it at that. But all right, take care. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, with the rebel that started this all, took us all down. Johnny Litecoin will be tomorrow. So see you guys then. Bye.
See ya.